Libot siya. So June is a special month for the province of Negros Occidental because we are celebrating our Provincial Environment Month. So this is observed in the 31 towns and cities of Negros Occidental. Let us begin today's activity with an opening prayer as we give glory and thanks to our Lord and Savior. Afterwards, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the Negros hymn.
Almighty Father, we raise our hearts to you in gratitude for the wonders of creation of which we are part, for your providence in sustaining us in our needs, and for your wisdom that guides the course of the universe. We acknowledge our sins against you and the rest of creation. We have not been good stewards of nature. We have confused your command to subdue the earth. The environment is made to suffer our wrongdoing, and now we reap the harvest of our abuse and indifference. Global warming is upon us. Typhoons, floods, volcanic eruptions, and other natural calamities occur in increasing number and intensity. We turn to you, our loving Father, and beg forgiveness for our sins. We ask that we, our loved ones, and our hard-earned possessions be spared from the threat of calamities, natural and man-made. We beseech you to inspire us all to grow into responsible stewards of your creation and generous neighbors to those in need. Amen.
Ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, ewas ang sikatanan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang binirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mo'y pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitindig. Lumanang araw ng warhabit pagsingka, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya na partay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Sa kita kapamilya, pag-uligay, pag-igay, pag-ibog, manapat mag-ari sa akin na probinsya. Magotod na Negrosano, isa katawungan, mapinalang tao, sa bunga dampuan na isakripisyo, sa kauswagan, sa sikatao. Ako't wala may mapiling sa kalulong, nanangaan gusto na nais na ako. Ang matutod na Negrosano, isa katawagan, mapinalang tao, sa una dampuan na isakripisyo, sa kauswagan, sa sikatao. Ang matutod na Negrosano,
may now take your seats. So again, we are celebrating our 29th Provincial Environment Month with the theme Ecosystem Restoration. Our theme was adopted from the United Nations Environment Program 2021. Restore, recreate, reimagine. They say that we have been exploiting and destroying our planet's ecosystem for so long, and the world loses enough forest cover to cover a football pitch over the last century. We have destroyed half of our wetlands, and 50% of our coral reefs have already been lost. Ecosystem loss is depriving the world of carbon sinks like forests. Global greenhouse gas emissions have grown at a staggering pace for the last decade. The emergence of COVID-19 has also shown us how disastrous the consequences of ecosystem loss can be. That is why with this challenging picture, we try to focus on ecosystem restoration, plus our theme for this 29th Environment Week celebration. At this point, let us call on our dynamic provincial administrator, Attorney Rayfrando Diaz, to give us his welcome remarks. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everybody. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the culmination of a month-long celebration of the Provincial Environment Week. On behalf of our Governor Eugenio Jose Lacson, I would like to congratulate PEMO and all the shareholders or our partners in environment for a very successful celebration of 1 month of Provincial Environment Week. After several weeks of localized celebration of Environment Weeks in several LGUs, we also had several activities for the province, which also was attended by our beloved former Governor Rafael Cosolguela with the bamboo plantation, which marks the start of our safe water project in Bldg River. Yesterday, we also embarked on a lot of projects such as a contest of the photo shoot contest, which we will award today, the winners. So thank you for your continuous effort in championing environmental protection in the province of Negros Occidental. It is a matter of great urgency and importance that we give 100% of our effort towards our ecosystem protection and restoration. I have always been a supporter of environmental programs because we understand that we are all part of this ecosystem, and man is just a single species that forms part of the web of life. And whatever happens to this web soon marks the fate of humankind. Whatever area in our ecosystem we destroy and pollute becomes a pollution that affects our health, affects our daily life. The extinction of a single species also marks the beginning of the extinction of humans. And so our role as humans are supposed to be as stewards, caretakers of our environment. We do not own the earth. The earth owns us. And so I hope that we continue and never grow tired of working for the environment, inspiring each other. And I guess it's time for us now to go more than the theoretical, the knowledge part. It's time for us now to internalize, because we are feeling the effects. We are feeling the effects of pollution. We are feeling the effects of ecosystem degradation, shortage of food, shortage of water, floods. These are all effects of a poor management of our environment. We have done so far, we have done so much for the environment, but there is still a lot to be done. And so, with Governor Bong Lacson, we encourage you on, help us continue to preserve our ecosystem in the province of Negros Occidental, and we will be there to support you 100%. Thank you very much, and welcome to our culmination, Avance Negrense.
Thank you for the words of encouragement, Attorney Ray. So, yesterday, mentioned Attorney Ray, they had the ceremonial bamboo tree planting. Earlier than that, may mga localized environment week celebrations ang ato ng mga 31 towns and cities. So, hindi lang niyang province, ang ato mga partner LGUs. In fact, ang ato ng mga academe, they are also celebrating Provincial Environment Week with us. So later on, our keynote speaker will be simultaneously broadcast dito man sa Central Philippine State University, Kabangkalan Main Campus as their keynote speaker. So dunga na sila karon sa aton. So despite the pandemic, we never forget that environment remains a priority, and we are happy that the provincial government continues to advocate for environment conservation and protection. This time, let us hear a message from our beloved governor for the Culmination Program or Environment Month, our Honorable Governor Eugenio Bong Lacson. Let's listen to his message.
Good morning. As we conclude this year's Environment Week, I would like to thank and congratulate all our 31 LGUs for their cooperation and successful localized environment celebration. As what I said the other day during our Arbor Day celebration, by this time, I think we are all in agreement of the urgency of the state of our environment. At present, humanity is being pressed and threatened on almost every side, and the more we lag on our efforts to save our environment, the more we endanger ourselves, our children, and our future. To say that this year's theme, ecosystem restoration, is up and fitting would be an understatement. Ecosystem restoration is urgent and crucial. The need for the recovery of our ecosystem that have been degraded and destroyed, and the conservation of those that are still intact, has gone beyond the question of choice. It is now a necessity. Further, I would like to reiterate to each and every Negrense to take the matter of saving our environment personally by being mindful of all our everyday actions. And to our LGUs, let us consider this event as another push for a more feasible but serious environmental saving efforts and activities. According to the scientific consensus of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, 97% of climate scientists agree that climate warming trends over the past century are extremely likely due to human activities. At this point, we all must recognize our part in causing the problem and accept the responsibility to do what needs to be done. The concern of our environment is a problem of global proportion, but reducing its adverse impacts must be done locally. As a united province, it is imperative upon us to integrate and consolidate our efforts to achieve functional and powerful solutions and implementations based on sustainable development. To the Provincial Environment Management Office, congratulations for leading our 29th Provincial Environment Month. May the good Lord give us the wisdom to formulate the steps required to address the very serious concern of saving our environment, and may He give us the will and courage to implement our plans of action. Thank you, and may God bless all our undertakings. Avance, Negrense.
You have just heard our message from our beloved governor. We will now have the introduction of our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is a project manager of the SWEEP, Sea Waste Education to Eradicate Plastic, from March 2018 up to the present. He's the executive director of the Philippine Reef and Rainforest Conservation Foundation Incorporated from 2016 up to the present. He's a board member of the Association of Young Environmental Journalists, island manager of the Nugan Island Marine Reserve, international group coordinator, International Buddhist Progress from 2008 to 2012. He is a professional fellow on environmental sustainability, Washington, D.C. and Oregon, USA. He is also a columnist, a contributing reporter for Negros Weekly, Sunstar Bacolod, and Visayan Daily Star. It is an honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Let's all welcome him, Mr. Dave Albao.
Mayong aga sa tanan, good morning. A little bit nervous kay first time ko nag-speech during sa pandemic bala. Do wala gid ta ka public event. So I just want to greet Gov. Lacson and his team. So the Provincial Administrator, Attorney Ray Diaz, sir, good morning. Former Gov. Costaluela, sir, thank you for being here. Executive Assistant, Ms. Marijon Castro. Also, Dr. Rowena Parcon. And special mention ko na si Attorney Julian Bedrio. My name is Dave Albao. Taga Bacolod lang ko. I'm 33 years old. So when I got invited here today, I'm a little bit nervous kay bagoong tubo lang kami sa movement sa environment, di ba? We are just new sa amuning movement, and I just wanted to say thank you, no? Because sa inyong obra, iban guro sa inyo sa high school ko, ara ako sa Victoria, sa Science High School, iban guro sa inyo go-work na sa PEMO. So, ang inyong obra, nag-contribute sa mga kabataan nga mapadayon sa inyong mga ginsuguran. So I just want to give everyone, or ask everyone to give yourselves and everyone here in this room a round of applause. Can you palapakanta? Miss Dailin, Miss Gemma, Miss Rochelle, Miss Evelyn, Miss Joy, Miss Olive, no? Kita nyo man kami siguro in the last 7 years. You know, when I started working sa foundation, I was 26 years old and you were there guiding us. So ang inyong obra is very, very important. Wala lang kamong kabalo nga ang inyong mga obra nga programs ginalantaw sa mga kabataan. Kag ginapadayon man nila, di ba, Ms. Olive, ginapamatian ginang inyong mga guidance, kag hindi kami work sa ecosystem restoration kung wala kamo. So today, I'm just gonna give a little bit of insights. Kagusto ko magstorya sa inyo, mag-report sa inyo kung sino mga kabataan nga active diri halin sa Negros. Actually, ang Negros kilala gid, very known. The province is very known to produce environmentalists, scientists, conservationists in the country. You know, so we are looked upon. Ginapamangkot ko na permi sa mga pod ko sa movement nga, Dave, ano ba yung nasa Negros? Bakit, anong special sa Negros? And today I hope to give you some insights. So my slide there says, who are the people behind #Generation Restoration? So this hashtag, di ba ginagamit ang hashtag, kaya gina-document ang mga posts sa social media. Ang Generation Restoration is a hashtag in start man sa United Nations because 2021 is the start of the decade of ecosystem restoration. Basically, mayara na lang ta 10 years, no? 2030 ang aton nga year. So I'm not sure if that is urgent sa tanan, pero syempre 10 years is a short time. So we only have 10 years to meet the targets that many countries have agreed on, and we are not yet reaching the target. So this year ko no, hambal nila, tutukan ta, hindi lang siya today or this month, 10 years ni siya nga theme ang ecosystem restoration. Nga kayuhon ta ko no, hindi lang naton nga, hindi ta pag-i-impact, kundi i-restore ta gid yang ecosystem, actively restore. So next slide, please. Or down, yeah. So, due tayo lang ang introduction. So right now, I work for a non-profit NGO named the Philippine Reef and Rainforest Conservation Foundation. Kilala nyo na guro sa obra namon sa Danhugan Island. I don't have so much time to share to you this beautiful story of this island. But damo man ni mga learnings, no, nakita, no witness man na sa mga partners ta sa PEMO, no, mga ma'am, mga mami kag mga tita tada sa PEMO. Kabalo mong kamo sang challenges ta. So kung gusto ko na i-present sa inyo, especially sa aton nga mga leaders today, para makita nyo kung diin ta subong sa amo nga work. Next please. So do tayo lang advertisement. I hope that you're proud also that Danhugan Island is in Negros. So it's also named as one of the unique conservation models in the world. So if you want to learn more about Danhugan, ara na sa Kawayan, sa Barangay Bulata. Hello sa mga taga Kawayan dira, Menro and Mau. Ara ang amon nga mga social media page. So ka-beautiful nga island, it's 43 hectares, sigaw Lito, galantaw gid pero dugay na siya na ng mga una nga naga-explore sang pulo. Ka-beautiful gini nga story. I hope you find time to learn more about it. Danhugan, i-define ko lang siya, no? It's a wildlife sanctuary. So ang pulo is there for animals and plants nga pabayaan lang sila. So kung may development plan ang island, it should be less than 10% ng island ginagamit para sa human habitation and trails. That's the ratio that we're looking at. 10% lang dapat ang gina-develop sa property kung ang imong focus is conservation. So anong kakatabo sa 90%? Basically, pabayaan mo lang daang birds kag ang bats nga mag-pollinate, tapos ginapabayaan mo man nga mag-grow no ang mga ecosystem. So it's a wildlife sanctuary because wala ta sila ginapunggan. So gina-let them thrive. Kung may mapatay, naturally, you know, kung for example, may manog, tapos may ginakaon ng manog, that's part of the ecological cycle and we let that be sa amo nga pulo. Tapos, surrounded siya sang isa ka marine protected area. So, by definition, an MPA is the waters around it. This is municipal waters and it's declared by a municipal ordinance as a marine protected area. It's the largest marine protected area in South Negros, but it is also facing challenges, no? So nag-up and down man ang management sa mga MPA, sa mga protected area. So subong gamon na ginatutukan namon sang PEMO, ang partnership with PEMO nga kag sang LGU sang Kawayan nga ma-fix ni or ma-improve ni ang management sang marine protected areas. So ano ma-review, ano gid bala ang importansya sang isa ka sanctuary? Ari na balaan ta ni blue carbon ecosystem sang tawag naton. So ang mangroves, di ba kabalo naman tana nga more than they sequester busilingon ang carbon dioxide sa halin sa aton nga greenhouse gas emissions, halin sa aton nga salakyan, halin sa aton aircon, halin sa aton tanang ginagamit nga butang. Ang mga mangroves kag seagrass ang seagrass is lusay, no? Or I don't know the right term, pero seagrass ga-sequester ni sila sang carbon dioxide sa ilang nga substrate. So these are very crucial man ecosystems per permit lang gakalipatan kay sa una habitat tanan nga hangin halin lang sa puno nga sa forest, no? But actually damo nga hangin ang gahalin man sa mangroves kag sa seagrass. In fact, more than half of the world's oxygen comes from marine ecosystems. Ginatawag na siya nga blue carbon because marine sila nga mga carbon sink. So ang isa ta ka big carbon sink is the North Negros Natural Park, right? But actually ang South Negros Marine Key Biodiversity Area starts sa Kawayan, Sipala, Hinubaan. That's a very, very rich area. And it covers a lot of hectares of seagrass, mangroves, corals, and that produces not just oxygen but also food. So this is our goal. Our goal is nga dapat ang mga lugar like Danhugan, after 10 years, ara na sila gyapon, among man sila gyapon pareho subong. Sometimes they tell us na oh dapat gina-improve niyo ni, ginahimuan niyo ni casino or himo ni building, but that's not development for the perspective of wildlife. No, dapat ang amon ang ginapangayo ta is may porsyento lang sang duta kag sang tubig, at least 10% sang aton nga tatan nga public land tani is set aside ta siya for restoration. Next please. I hope do wala ako diga lecture attorney Bidrio ha. Pasensya na gusto ko lang mag-share no kay para may update. So now question ko, paano ta anong tsura sang ecosystem klase nagid niya? Ano ko no ang tsura sang ecosystem restoration? Ga plant kita mangroves every environment month, naga panglimpyo kita coastal clean up. Amo na bala ang ginatawag tanga ecosystem ga tree planting. Ano pa nga mga examples? May mga paminsaran pa ta? No, so usual amo na nga ton nga mga events. Ecosystem restoration are usually tree planting activities. Right? But today I'm gonna share with you sa amon nga pag-experience sa mga kabataan paglantaw namon no. So millennial ko no, I'm 33 years old but I also work a lot with Generation Z and of course Generation X no. So mga, of course these are just mga labels lang ni sila pero amo ni karon i-explore ta no. So next slide is the first thing is that we believe that hindi ta maintindihan ang ecosystem kung hindi kita makakita sa ila. So unfortunately because of the pandemic, I expect and I think we can anticipate in the next 2 years ang mga kabataan hindi na sila maka-access gid permi sa mga places like this. So this is something that gina-innovate man naton sa foundation sa mga partners na muna nga sa PEMO to nag-quiz show ta, naghampak, nag-game show ta nga papakot-pakot ang tawag ta wild guess because we're trying to innovate ways kung paano to makuha ang mga kabataan nga maka-insindi pa sila sang sitwasyon sang aton sang kalibutan. Kay 10 years naman lang sila naman ang ma-inherit, di ba? Mo na permi ko kakapatian sa aton nga mga tita, mami is ako ga-joke lang na sila permi. Former gov dito, kilala mo man guro ang permi ga-joke nga ara na kuya sa departure lane niya. Lapit na lang kuya mag-exit. So ang responsibility ko no is as a youth. So next slide please. So ang akon today nga message is sino ang generation restoration? Sino ang henerasyon nga mag-restore sa ecosystem? Amo nang pamangkot. Di ba nag-hashtag generation restoration? Si sino? Kami na bala nga subong ang mga millennials? Is it the Generation Z? Ang bata mo bala siya ang responsible nga i-restore ecosystem? Kita bala nga may edad na graduate na tadira? So ang amon nga nakita is ang generation restoration is not just one generation. It's actually subong nga mga tao no, ikaw, ako, siya, kita. Kita ang generation restoration. Pero paano ano na siya busilingon man? So next slide. Ang first ko gid, pwede ta ma-move gamay, sorry. Gusto ko ipakita sa inyo ang isa ka obvious nga meaning sang restoration is akong ang isa ka lugar gadabong. So this is just an example no. 1991 amo nang tsura sang Typhoon Beach na sa Pulo. Dito dumano pa nagurong tsura sina. Tapos hunas katama hunas katama. Subong ang sea level niya, ang high tide niya, sobra-sobra na gito yung una nga mga high level tides. So 2015 nakita niyo gadabong ang puno pero ang dagat gataas na nga gataas. No, so obviously that's a reality that you can find. Sa picture makita niyo man gusto ko ni nga i-share nga story kay importante ni siya sa aton nga storya as Negrosanon. Ang intergenerational nga term. Anong butson sa intergenerational? For example, lain nga generation si Gov Lito, lain mga generation si Attorney Diaz, lain mga generation si Attorney Bidrillo, lain mga generation siguro si Doc Parcon, pero natawa sila gapungko sila sa isa ka lamesa. No, may bata kita nga leader sa government, no? Ang aton nga Provincial Legal Officer gali Attorney Nelias. Hello. Na mga young pero promising, but they are there in the table. Kung silingon may lugar ang kabataan sa lamesa para maghambal. And this is something this is something that we need to encourage. Kaysa una, di ba, mag-ara kaya sa lamesa, kag hindi ka pasa na sa edad, hipos kagidya, you don't say anything. Am I right? Kung bata ka, you don't say anything. So of course, kilala niyo naman guro sa Greta Thunberg, right? She's like super young, but nagambal na sa United Nations. That person in the photo is Mr. Jerry Ledesma. I think he's about 70-ish years old. He's one of the founders of the organization that I work for. He's such like a grandfather for all of us. The girl in the photo, if you look at the top right, is Kyla Ledesma when she was young. She was really young. She started Marine camps in 1991. And many years later, she became a biologist. She worked for WWF. And she worked for Negros NFEFI as one of the education officers. And I was 15 years old when I joined the junior zookeeper workshop of NFEFI. I was studying in Negros Occidental Science High School, also supported by the province, and see how this ecosystem of people, different generations supporting each other. This is the best example of intergeneration because now Kyla is on the board of trustees of this foundation. And I have to mention this, before it's all men, right? Usually on the board, it's all men. But now after Kyla, there's 3 women, all passionate, intelligent, hardworking women, and mothers as well, who are on the board. Next slide, please. Grabe daw ka passionate na gini. I have 6 points to share. No? So second is supporting STEM and research. This picture here shows Mark De La Paz. He was on his way to Japan for a scholarship in university. Mark De La Paz is the pride of Negros, one of the pride of Negros. He's a really promising marine mammal researcher, and he studied airwater dolphins in Bago, or the Guimaras Strait. That picture over there was taken by Kyla, and she took a picture of a pregnant wadi, gabusong nga isa ka dolphin, naglumpat pa, breach is very rare. And both Mark and Kyla are alumni of the same environmental education program. And I became friends with Mark as well because naging co-facilitators kami sa mga damo-damo nga mga NVIED programs. Miyara super informal, nga do hampang lang, Miss Olive, di ba? Miyara man super formal gid, nga do conference, pero ara kami tanan. And kaedad ko lang si Mark. So Mark, good luck sa imong studies sa Japan. I hope when you come back here, you can really help Negros also with science and research. And of course, si Attorney Julie kag si Attorney Nelias are products of Science High School man. Sorry for mentioning that. But I'm really proud because that program, I don't know kung kabalo ka muna sang Victorias nga school, ang Science High School. When I started, when I was in my first year, I was the kami ang batch nga nag-complete sang 4 ka years. That means bago-bago pa lang tong Science High School, wala gito yung facility, morseko tanan. Pero grabe ang teachers namon, sila ni Miss Pagador, si Sir Akuyong, grabe ang pag-support ang mga principal sa una. Ang support sa province, dumdum pugit ng Capitol para may support sa mga kabataan. So importante gini siya, sir kag ma'am, please encourage STEM and research. Kung sa Central Philippine State University ka pamati, research is very important because it's our way to understand what can we do in the next 9 years. Because if we're studying research, tapos wala kabalo, like later on, mabaha na lang di, ang tide gataas na, muna gabaha na halin sa bukid, kaya wala may nagatuon. Next is the supporting livelihoods. Ako, of course, PEMO is very familiar with this. The province is very familiar with this. Ang picture naman ni, mga campers man sila sa una, si Tikyo, bata pa na siya nagsugod, nag-learn, taga-Bulatan na siya. So buong isa na siya sa mga guides. Kasi Ramram, ang mga head guides naman. These are locals nga wala naka-opportunidad ng mga college. Pero I admire them. They're certified bird guiders. Thank you sa PBCFI kag sa province man sa pag-support sa ila nga pag-train sang birding. You know, they're very professional, they're very smart, and I'm just so happy to meet these kind of locals, no? So let's support livelihoods also. Again ha, this is the ecosystem restoration. So kita nyo, wala pa ni tree planting. Karon pa to tree planting. So I'm talking about the other things that we forget, no? But of course, livelihood sa province, I know that you support this. Please continue doing so. Please continue thinking about sustainable livelihood projects. Next, please. Supporting all life forms. So this picture here was of a sea turtle nga rehabilitate. Do kami to mga nurse niya kay hindi siya kapanaog. Kung hindi siya kapanaog kay may buoyancy disorder siya. Hindi siya kakaon sa dalom. So for 45 days, ang pangalan niya si Star. Nagsikat man ni siya sa GMA, nagwa sa Born to be Wild. Tapos interesting sa story, di ginapamangkot kami kisa sa mga bata pag bilang bago. Lati nga na save niyo gid ang sea turtle nang may mo nang pamangkot. Pero may ara man nagahang bata, nga wala na sila pamangkot, turo pamangkot, ya kabalo sila nga they need to save the pawikan. I don't know if you remember Moana. Si Moana to isa niya kasi di ba bata pa siya ga-save siya si turtle. Tapos nadumduman ko man, information man no, ang sea turtles, kag mga charismatic animals, if you post them on social media, sa amon nga findings are the response rate or the engagement rate of our audience is usually 300 times more. So there's something about sea turtles nga nag-hatch, nga cute nga daw gina-share gid. But compared mo saya sa bagis, damo man ako baan sa bagis, di ba? So, but both of them are very, very important ecosystems. And by the way, these are all taken from the south in Kawayan, in Barangay Bulata. Next, please. Okay pa? Ari masulod pa. Multi-sectoral and participatory. I cannot emphasize this enough and I appeal to you. No, taginag hambal ka mo. Okay na kamo na niya kamo na ni ma-lead sang ecosystem restoration. Kay kami na kami. Mature. So kamo naman lead. Ang amo lang pangayo sa inyo, tagaan nyo kami opportunity, access, and sometimes financing, obviously, for projects. Because you are in power. You are in authority. You have the ability to make things happen for the young people. So I really appeal to you sa mga ma'am takatita, please hindi nyo kami pagpabayaan. Yes, we will continue the work, but please support us, please guide us. So, multi-sectoral. Kita nyo sa picture, si Miss Dailin Haradao, si Kim, si Sir Bob sa Kawayan, si Jaire, si Miss Evelyn, panaguro ng isa. Nag-witness sila sang turtle nest nga nag-hatch na timingan lang kami management board meeting dito. Tapos amo man ang date of hatching. So nagulat to sila sunset, hasta nga mag-sunset na gid, naginuha sila kag nagbuligay. So this is something that we call multi-sectoral and participatory nga ano. But sila sa multi-sectoral nga kabataan, eskwelahan, pero ara man ang negosyo, ara man ang dito gambal ko do kabalo na kamo na actually mga ma'am kag sir kay di ba mo ng 5 E's ta sa environmental management no, enforcement, education, enterprise, ano pang hinduwagan, engineering. Hindi kaliba. Hi attorney. Okay, next. Kaya ito na naka-witness na sila ni attorney dito. Ari importante man. These two women I admire so much. Si Kim, graduate man siya sa Science High School. Tapos si Carmela naman niya graduate sa Bulata National High School. And she took a scholarship under DAASF for fisheries in Kamsi, Binalbagan. Sa una, pag-meet ko niya siya, 15 years old na siya, subong 22 years old na siya. Sa una, she's so quiet, hindi siya yakahambal anything. Wala siya feeling niya, hindi siya yakahambal. Wala siya diber maghambal. Why do I emphasize empowering women and girls? You know, kabalo man kamuguro nga kung ara kamo sa pigado nga community, ang babae wala na siya choice. Amo nakita namon kag ginagagusto ko gina-express. May ara communities pagyapon at sadly, nga kung bata ka nga babae, you don't have a say in the house. You don't know what, hindi ka ka-decide kung maswila ka or hindi. Hindi ka ka-decide kung anong kurso mo. Tapos sadly, gabusong sila at the age of even 16. So teenage pregnancy or they get pregnant or they have many kids. So we know that SDG 5 or gender equality is very linked to also greenhouse gas emissions. Kung ang babae hindi siya empowered or educated, and I cannot assume that because I am a guy, pero ang mga babae if they have the empowerment and education, they can decide for their bodies. They can say, I don't want to have kids right now. I want to study. Gusto ko mag-eskwela. Gusto ko mag-ubra. Pero syempre, kung ara ka to sa isa ka lugar nga wala na ginatagaan sa importansya ang mga babae or mga bata ang babae, sulod ka na ng balay, panghugas ka pinggan. So this is important because actually linked sa sustainability, because the more, of course, people are there nga under wala sang resources, mas pigado, kag mas nagapigado pag ang aton environment, mas gajutay isda, mas gajutay sang kahoy. So I admire these girls so much, and I hope ma-meet nyo sila kag one day maybe they will become leaders also in the environmental sector. Diverse and inclusive. Obviously, we know now nga damo-damo classes ang tao, hindi lang ang normal nga makita. So we have to be open, no? Happy kasi Miss Olivia very supportive sa mga youth groups, lain-lain classes, sila ni Joshua, sila ni Krishna, pero ara ga support yapon si Miss Olive bisan lain-lain kis pamaagi or ginhalinan or the way sila maghambal. This is something that we need to take action for to ensure nga may mga voice ang tanan. Next. Learning and unlearning. So this is my last point. By the way, wala to 3 planting sa akon nga presentation. I wanted to focus more on the social aspect of the work that we're doing. This is very, very important, mga sir kag ma'am. If you are not building a community with the work that you're doing, we are not going to be here on this stage. I'm not going to be here talking. You started the work, Govlito, you started the work. You know, Attorney Diaz, you're doing the work now. Attorney Bidrio, you have so much in the future. This community, this Negros community is the reason why we have young leaders here that are being recognized. Like si Carmela Cagina was recognized by former First Lady Michelle Obama. You know, when she heard her story, she was so touched. This super small girl from Bulata who, you know, took on herself to get a degree. She's graduated cum laude. She's a licensed fisheries technologist. First thing a speech sa IUCN Global Youth Summit, she was like, subong interviewon mo siya, kabalo na siya maghambal. So learning and unlearning, and I hope that also we focus on unlearning. Kaysa because of COVID, damo ta sang gina-unlearn subong. Damo ta gina-unlearn. So I hope that you're open. Whatever generation you are, we need to unlearn and change. Amo that's how we can restore. Kung hindi ta na ma-unlearn, hindi kita ka-restore sa ating environment. I think my last slide is, again, the question is, how, ano na subong ang tsura sa ecosystem restoration? That's my question for today. Paano ta ma-restore ang aton nga kalibutan, be? Kung may 10 years na lang siya, paano ta siya masuli? Some people are gonna say, we cannot do anything. We just need to slow it down. There's nothing we can do. But ecosystem restoration does not just look like sea turtles hatching. Ecosystem restoration is you paying attention to a 33-year-old, you know, nobody. 33-year-old nga wala pa kuya, hindi mo kuya abogado, hindi mo ko doktor. Why are you listening to me? This is how ecosystem restoration looks like. If you are listening to me and if you're actually seeing that I'm not talking about mangrove planting, I'm not talking about protesting coal-fired power plants. This is first thing and foremost, being inclusive, and especially with the youth, especially with women and girls. Next, please. Lawig na. I invite you to take a screenshot of this QR code. This QR code goes to a YouTube video link. The title of the song is The Eyes of Future Generations. The eyes of all future generations are on us. This is a quote from Greta Thunberg. She's Swedish. And we have a supporter from Sweden. He's a national musician there named Anders Paulson. He has been to Negros many, many times, by the way. Super, super love niya ang Negros. And then he collaborated with artists here in Bacolod to produce a song, a saxophone song with a Swedish girl singer, and then a band here in Bacolod with rap. So you look at the video, and then you will see in the end, the Bulata National High School kids joined the choir. And this song is actually a message for us, for our generations, even older than them. Kabalo ka mo naman ni Greta Thunberg sa UN. Ginalantaw kita subong kung anong ginubrahon ta. kay i-judge kita ko sa future generations kung ano ginubra ta subong. Because they cannot do anything. They're so young right now. They're just victims. They're just gonna inherit this earth. So si Greta, medyo akig siya, no? You can hear her. She say, how dare you? Conference na kamo di sa United Nations. Fly ka mo all over the world siya. Nag-sailboat siya. So I'm not endorsing Greta Thunberg's anger, but I hope that you will continue your good work. Ang ayoko man no, sa mga aton mga partners, sometimes we don't need to clean up the beach or plant a mangrove to restore the ecosystem. What we can do is just do our job. Do our job, don't be corrupt, and listen to the stakeholders. So what is one concrete example, Attorney Julie, mamangkot sa akon, anong example ginasang ginamin mo, Dave? Meetings, important meetings to complete documents and compliance, bisan mga plans na siya nga dapat ara na siya gani sa DLG code, wala pa gyapon nato nagakatapos, pero wala akong may gina-blame because damo mga factors. Pero kung gusto ta mag-restore ecosystem, dito ta sa mga dokumento ta na yung una, mga plano ta, solid waste management plan, and everything. You know that kay kamo mga PEMO kamo ginaang nagaugtas guro sa CISA nga sagay follow up nga wala gyapon. Pagkabaluman kong kabudlayan sa mga local government is that kulang man sila tao, kulang sila time, damo sila ubra. Tiyan mo nga pangayo sa inyo, involve nyo ang mga stakeholders, involve nyo mga kabataan, involve nyo ang mga tao nga may time, nga may talent, nga magsulat. You know, i-open nyo ang space, kag i-presentar kung paano ta mabuligan as a community. Next, I think last. Wala na akong last slide. Please follow us on Instagram because our Instagram is also our way to communicate. Again, sa mga leaders no, Attorney Ray, Farmer Goblito, Attorney Julie, Ms. Rowena, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I hope that nakashare ko gamay kag sa mga friends natin sa PEMO. We really appreciate the work that you're doing, especially sa experience ko sa South Negros. You're very active. Kabay lang hindi niyo pagpabayaan ang aton nga mga partners sa bilog nga Negros Occidental. Thank you, Gid. Mayong hapon sa tanan.
Thank you, Sir Dave Albao. Sir, please stay in front. So we have just heard this message for all of us today. So isa lang tong pabilin sa ako, no? #Generation Restoration. So we are all part of that. Famous author once said, kuno, we are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change, and we are also the last generation to do something about it. So this is connected with what he's saying right now. We, as the present generation, we have that intergenerational responsibility that we need to commit to ensure that the generations yet unborn can also enjoy a sustainable environment. So that is the message of our keynote speaker. Again, let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Sir Dave. So may I request Attorney Refrando Diaz and the Environment Consultant for Energy and Environment Affairs, Rafael Coscolwela, to present our token and our certificate to our keynote speaker. Please allow me to read the contents of the certificate. Provincial Government of Negros Occidental, Provincial Environment Management Office presents this certificate of appreciation to Dave Albao for sharing his knowledge and expertise as keynote speaker during the 29th Provincial Environment Month culmination activity with the theme Ecosystem Restoration on June 24 at the Provincial Capital Social Hall, Bacolod City. Given this 24th day of June 2021 at Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, signed Rowena T. Parcon, Officer in Charge, signed Attorney Refrando Diaz, Provincial Administrator. Again, let's give him a round of applause, please. And gamay lang na photo ops. Thank you, Attorney Ray. Thank you. Gov Coscolwela. Thank you, Sir Dave Albao. So we have been treated to a very informative and interesting presentation by Sir Albao. So damo patano, So earlier we said it is not just us here, there is a province na nag-celebrate sa Environment Month. We mentioned our local government units. In fact, some of them are on Zoom live follow sa aton subong. Can we show them on screen? Wait. Okay, let's take a look at the screen. Ara ang aton nga mga partner LGUs nga naga-join sa aton subong. We have hello sa aton nga mga environment partners. I think I can see La Carlota, San Enrique. Di ko kita man isang iban. We also have our provincial government Negros Occidental department heads nga naga-join sa aton nga Zoom link. Central Philippine State University, Kabangkalan Main Campus, headed by the President, Aladino Moraca. University of St. LaSalle is also joining us. And of course, ang mga supportive partners, so may Pontevedra, ang NOSPD, Nuletse, Lisel from La Carlota again, and iban pa. So kadamo sa ila, no? Of course, we are also grateful to our provincial God focal person, Miss Mary June Pabiliar Castro. Palakpakan to si Ma'am June. Since we started earlier, ga-Facebook live siya. So imagine na how long we have been, mga 1 hour na. She is still untiring in her efforts para ma-present lang ang aton nga Facebook live. So again, thank you sa aton development partners, aton local government units, and ang aton nga academe. So we will now have a video presentation of the different environment activities that has happened sa Negros. So kung kita sa province, we have been celebrating Environment Week in the 4th month. May arataya LGUs nga naga-celebrate every 2nd, 3rd week, or 4th week. Through the local ordinances, sila mismo ga-conduct localized Environment Week celebrations. In fact, there's 18 of them nga nag-join gid, no? So I'd just like to give a special recognition to the cities of Cadiz, Escalante, Himamaylan, Kabangkalan, La Carlota, San Carlos, Sipalay, Talisay, Victorias, and the municipalities of Binalbagan, Kawayan, Ibi Magalona, Hinubaan, Ilog, Isabela, Manapla, Moises Padilla, and Pontevedra. Palakpakan tang aton LGU partners who in the respective localities nag-celebrate man sang aton Environment Month. So ang ila activities would also include cleanups, tree growing, mangrove growing, and damo pa. So despite the pandemic, our environment drive is still very strong. So again, we are grateful for that. So can we now see the video presentation so we can have a glimpse of what they have been doing for this month of June. Again, let us show our appreciation to our LGU partners by giving them a resounding hearty applause. Thank you, our LGU partners. So at this point, we will hear an inspirational message from our Executive Assistant to the Governor for PEMO Affairs. Let's listen to Attorney Julian A. Bldg.
To our Provincial Administrator, Attorney Refrandes Diaz II, our former Governor Lito Coscolwela, who is our Provincial Consultant for Energy and Environment, to our keynote speaker, Mr. Dave Albao, a good friend, to all PEMO division heads and employees, and to everyone attending our Culmination program, whether virtually or physically, a pleasant morning. Environment is the source of life. Our lives are dependent on the balance of the ecosystem. If we destroy the ecosystem, we are destroying ourselves. Science and technology as advancements have enabled us to benefit from our natural resources, but we have also caused harm to the environment. Biodiversity loss is growing rapidly because of the increase in human consumption, global trade, and urbanization, resulting in humankind utilizing more of the Earth's resources than it can replenish naturally. There can be no healthy life if there is an imbalanced ecosystem. This year is the 29th Provincial Environment Month with the theme Ecosystem Restoration, which is adopted from the UN World Environment Day 2021. The provincial government of Negros Occidental, through the Provincial Environment Management Office, or PEMO, took a major step in restoring the balance of the ecosystem. We have successfully launched the Provincial Integrated Water Security Program, along with our provincial administrator and our governor and our partner, USAID, which is a project that aims to safeguard water resources and ensure a water-secure future for the province. Despite the restrictions of this pandemic, our office was able to partner with environmental organizations and institutions and all our local government units to conduct virtual marine camps, environmental research competitions, cleanup drives, and many more activities in the localized Environment Week celebrations. To all the hardworking employees of PEMO, we must remain committed to the very purpose of our organization. That is to improve the quality of life of the residents of the province through a healthy and ecologically balanced environment and essential and equitable ecosystems. In attaining a healthier environment and a well-balanced ecosystem, we must all take action and make it an everyday decision to save the environment. In our collective action, we shall achieve greater victories, not only for ourselves, but for the future generation. We shall secure a future in which the nature's wild heart continues to beat strong, in which people, development, and healthy nature coexist. Let us make this vision a reality. Good morning and avance negrense.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Julie, for that inspiring message. We will now have the announcement of our winners for the Provincial Environment Week Nature, Photography, and Digital Art Contest. So, in observance of the pandemic and of the new normal, we have selected activities that minimize mass gatherings. So, our activities for Environment Week for this month has been low-key, so we focus on online activities, such as the digital art and the nature photography contest. So just to give you a bird's eye view, the nature photography contest will adopt the theme ecosystem restoration. Entries must strictly adhere to the competition's themes. Photographs should be able to capture the restoring the mangroves and the forest, and images should be depicted in the efforts done by the different stakeholders. For our digital art, each image must be original and an unpublished work of the participant who owns the copyright. By submitting an entry, the participant is granting PEMO the right to use the artwork without any fee payment, and PEMO will acknowledge the participant accordingly. So we have cash prizes and certificate to our winners. We will now call on Attorney Julian Bldg to announce our winners.
To announce the winners for the Provincial Environment Week Nature Photography Contest. So for the third place, we have cash prizes, by the way. So for the third place, Mr. John Jareño. Provincial Environment Nature Photography Contest. Let's see his entry. Yes, that's for third place. For the second place, the winner is Nel Vergara. And let us ano una daw? Okay, that's the entry of Nel Vergara. Okay, and for the first place, Fritz Carl D. Traiso. Okay. So the cash prizes are 2,000 pesos for the third place, 3,000 pesos for the second place, and first place 5,000 pesos. We also announced the winners for the Provincial Environment Week Digital Art Contest. So we will award first the third place. We have Janine V. Ledesma. And let us show the entry of Miss Janine V. Ledesma. Okay, that's the Digital Art Contest entry. For second place, we have Rafia Pastro Fraina. Okay, and let us show the entry of Rafia. Okay, that's for second place. And for the first place, congratulations to Arnie G. Hiponya. Okay, let us show that art contest. Okay. Okay, you can claim your prizes at the PEMO office. And congratulations everyone, especially those who won. And for those who did not make it, you can try again next year.
Thank you, Attorney Julie. So congratulations to our winners of the Digital Art Contest and the Nature Photography Contest. So ongoing pa na ang processing sa ato niya payment of the prizes for the winners. So they will be notified and then they can claim their prize pag ara ng ilang cash prize sa Treasurer's Office. So at this point, we will now call on the officer in charge of the Provincial Environment Management Office, Dr. Rowena T. Parcon, to give her closing remarks.
Thank you, Juan. Good morning, everyone, especially to our ever supportive Provincial Administrator, Attorney Ray Diaz, to our keynote speaker, si Sir Dave Adlaw, kay Gov. Lito Coscaluela, former Gov. Good morning, sir. Attorney Julian Bedreo, Attorney Alberto Nelias, Ma'am June Castro, kag sa tanan nga ari di subong, kag sa tanan nga nagalantaw through Facebook streaming, maayong agagid sa inyo nga tanan. Today marks the celebration of the culmination of our 29th Provincial Environment Week celebration. As we reflect on the state of our environment, we know that our fight against environmental abuse is far from over. But if we work together as one, we still can save our environment. It will be a race against time, and we must not waver, but press on toward our goal, restored ecosystem. Before I end this event, I would like to acknowledge the persons who made time to be with us, not just today, but all throughout this month's environment celebration. Our grateful thanks to our ever dynamic Governor Eugenio Lacson, who led yesterday's bamboo planting at Malagur River watershed, to our Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer, our ever supportive Provincial Administrator Attorney Ray Diaz, our SP on Environment Board Member Andrew Montelibano, our Provincial Consultant on Energy and Environment, the brain and force behind us when PEMO was just starting, Governor Pascuala, our Executive Assistant to the Governor for PEMO Affairs, Attorney Julian Bedreo, to Ma'am June Castro, thank you for coming today. To our partner in the enforcement of sand and gravel extraction laws and policies, Attorney Alberto Nelias, and to everyone who are here today and who have been with us for so many years. Thank you very much for your continued support in our quest for a better environment. We are here today to culminate this year's celebration of the Provincial Environment Month. It is my great pleasure to congratulate each and every one of you who still continue to protect, conserve, and rehabilitate our environment despite the challenges and restrictions brought to us by COVID-19 pandemic. Our activities were anchored to this year's theme, Ecosystem Restoration, adopted from the UN World Environment Day 2021, that urges governments, industries, communities, and individuals to focus on resetting our relation with nature. Thanks to technology, that through it we have connected and conducted our activities virtually. This goes to show that somehow we have adapted to the new normal of doing things. We have shown resiliency and unwavering love for an environment. I can truly say that we have been very good stewards of nature. I would like to thank also the different local government units who celebrated their localized environment week by restoring mangroves and forests through science-based mangrove planting and tree growing activities, as well as tree planting in urban settings and schools, colleges, parks, and green belts. As shown in the video a while ago, your performances and collective efforts toward the betterment of our environment surely brought enormous difference. Special mention to the cities of Imamaylan, Cabancalan, La Carlota, Talisay, San Carlos, Victorias, Escalante, Silay, Sipalay, and Cadiz, as well as the municipalities of Kawayan, Moises Padilla, Ibe Magalona, Binalbagan, Manapla, Isabela, Inubaan, Ilog, and Pontevedra for organizing their localized Environment Week celebration. Before I end this message, I would like to leave you with this quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt. A nation that destroys its soils destroys itself. Forests are the lungs of our land, purifying the air and giving fresh strength to our people. I hope to see each one of you again this coming November as we celebrate the Provincial Wildlife Month. Thank you. Good morning. Avance Negrense.
Thank you, Dr. Percon. So the message is clear. We can still make a difference. The time to act is now. And let us be part of generation restoration. Thank you, everyone. Salamat and Avance Negrense. At this point, we will have our photo ops with our guests and those sitting in front. So, pwede ko lang ma-request si Bea. Bea, ikaw lang ma-direct sila, Bea, sa photo ops. Diri sa tubang. Diri sila sa babaw. Sige, I request Attorney Ray, Attorney Julian, Gov. Coscuela, our speaker, Mr. Dave Albao, Dr. Parcon, to please come up on stage. We also request Attorney Nelias, our Provincial Legal Officer. May request Ms. Dailin San Jose to join. So nga ra sa seats, dala ka mo anay kay ma-selfie na sila karon upod sa tanan. May we also request you to harap pa, may isa pa. Okay, after that, may we proceed downstairs. So, facing facing the stage para madala sila sa likod. Bay, tindog sila or mapungko. Ang ara sa seats, pwede ta katindog para mas makita. We can just stay in our seats. So, ma-background ta sila. Thank you, everyone.
So I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of